Hi and smiles, everyone. Colleen here. Today we're going to talk about scrapbooking papers. I wanted to show you what to do when we all have these papers that we end up falling in love with and we buy, and they end up being one-sided papers, right? And so you have all that bright white space on the back of your paper that perhaps you do not want in your journals, the bright whiteness, right? So I wanted to show you today some quick ways to change that, and then you can do these ahead of time and they'll be ready to go into a journal when you want them to. So I'm going to start with something very basic that we all can do, and the point of this is that you don't want it taking you a lot of time, right? So the first, let me just pick one of these papers. Let's do it to, oh yes, I wanted to say that you can also have the cardstock, or you can have the thinner paper. So this first couple of things I would not do on the thinner paper because it will soak through, and we don't, unless that's what you want, but I want to keep the integrity of the paper the way it is here. So I'm going to set those aside for now. Okay, so let's work with this one. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to take a paintbrush here, and then I am going to just take some coffee or tea dye, and then I'm just going to run it across the back of this. Oh, I got little grinds in there, but I don't mind that. That gives it some texture. This was some leftover coffee from this morning. So you just take away the starkness of that by, you know, doing your coffee dye on the back, but using a brush, you don't, you will not get the front of it, right? And the whole point is I want to keep the front design the way it is, but just something as simple as that, and you get rid of all that white brightness, as you can see. So that's just that would be great, and you can go through lots of papers that way. But I want to add a little bit more to this, so I'm going to just take a stencil, and you can take any stencil you want. I'm going to just lay it on top. Then I'm going to take some spray, some coffee spray, and whoop, let's see, am I going to get that to spray properly? There we go. And I'm going to just spray this on here. And then we're going to just let that dry. And I will show you at the end of the video. I'm going to just spray a little bit more, how it turns out. So we're just going to set this aside and let that dry. That'll take a few minutes for sure. So there we go. So you can just do the straight like I showed you, or you could use a stencil and spray it on top. Okay, the next one I wanted to show you. Let's see. I think I'll work with this one here. I'm going to just cut this off real quick. There we go. Excuse me. I just need my big one to do that with. All right. Actually, I think before I show you this one, let's do another one that I was thinking would work really nicely. Well, let's see. No, I think I want to use I think I want to use this one. So the other thing is I had some watercolors that came in, I'll show you. Comes in tubes, just like this. So what I did is I made some sprays with the watercolor. And watercolor is really, really nice for this. It's not, it sort of is more of a pale look to it, I guess I would call it. And my objective is I want to be able to still write on these papers at the end of the day, right? Is what we want to do, is have some journaling space. So all I'm going to do with this is I'm going to spray these on. Just use some different sprays. Put a little bit of this one on again. Oh, it's blue. So how quick is that, right? And what color is this? I think this might be orange. There we go. So I'm going to just let that one dry, and then I'll show you after what it looks like. So we'll just put that one aside. And with the watercolor, if you don't have the tube kind, you can just use your regular watercolor and paint them on. So, and you can do this on 6x6 papers too, right? You certainly don't have to be your 12x12s only. So I am just going to quickly paint this on. Which one do I want to paint it on? I think I'll go with these cars. So I want to stick to some more yellows and greens and things, I think, for this. So I'm just going to, I didn't bring in my some water, so I'm just going to use my water bottle here and dip my brush into it. And all I'm going to do is use my brush, and I am going to spread this on. This is quite a little brush. I don't have a bigger brush around right now, but I would certainly use a much bigger brush. That I'm using right now to get the color on. In fact, I'm going to get a bigger brush because you certainly wouldn't do that when you're trying to be quick, to have a brush that isn't bigger, right? I just happened to grab that out of, but I will just, out of my little container here that I got from the Dollar Tree, I'll just grab a bigger brush. Here we go. And we'll work with that. It's so handy. Just turns. Okay, this will work better. So let's grab some green, I think I want. There, much better. So then we just will brush it across. Just like that. I'm not, I just want color on here. And I think I'll just stick to the two colors, but you could do as many colors as you wanted on here. That's for sure. And we'll just a little more green, perhaps over here. And then a little more yellow right there, blending them together. And then a bit more green. And then we're done. So as you can see, this is going, when it dries, we're going to be able to journal on these quite fine. There we go. So I'm going to just set that one aside. So you can use the sprays for the watercolor sprays. You could use any spray. I just wanted to try the watercolor sprays because I had those tubies and I think they will dry fairly quickly. Okay, and then I'll worry about cleaning these up later. All right, so the next thing you can use would be, let's see, here we go. I'm gonna use, you can use our acrylic paints as well. And they don't have to be fancy acrylic paints. They can be any acrylic paint. And I want to do it on here. So then I'm just going to put some paint out on my thing here. So I'm going to use this pink and a little bit of green. Whoop, I guess I better shake that one, hey? I do have some purple or lilac here. Oh, that one needs a good shaking too. Obviously, I have not used these lately. I'm going to just take that off. So they need to be mixed up well. So let's get those mixed up. Okay, let's see what we get this time. That's better. I think I had added a little water to this one because I really like the color, so I was stretching the color. But that's okay, that's perfect for what we're doing today. See if we can get there, that's better. So then I'm just gonna take a sponge, any size. I think I'll use this one. So all I'm going to do is take a sponge, grab some paint, and I'm going to put it on this paper, whichever way you'd like to put it on. And let's grab a little pink. And it adds texture as well, as you can see, with the sponge, right? There's lots of texture in this sponge. And I believe this sponge, oh, look at that. That looks good. I'm going to do some more of that. I believe I got it. It was a big sponge. Just like this. And I'm not even sure, but I probably got it from a Walmart or a store like that anyway. And I just really liked all the texture in the sponge, and it wasn't that expensive at all. It was a great big sponge. Okay, let's get some more of this green going on. A little more. Some more purple over here. And some more pink. I want a little more green, I think. There we go. Yeah, I like that green. It's one of my favorite greens. It's, I'm not even sure where I got it. Luscious Foliage is what it's called. But it's just the nicest. It's a bright, but at the same time kind of subtle green, if that makes sense. Anyway, okay, let's do a little more of our pink in here and up here. Okay, I think that's going to be enough. So you can do something as quick and as easy as taking a sponge. I like the sponge because of the texture in it. I think it looks great. Okay, so you can use your paints, your not expensive paints. If you want to use expensive ones, you certainly can, acrylic paints, but you certainly don't have to either. So I'm going to set this aside and let it dry, and we'll show you later how that turned out. Okay, so the next thing we can do is, I'm wondering first if I should turn this over because these ones are not wet. I had put this plastic down because I was using the wet mediums, but I think I can do this now, because the next thing we're going to do is we're going to use some inks. They're great for this type of thing, and they work fast and so forth. So I'm going to just do that. Okay. So here's some inks I pulled out. Okay, I'm going to use this one. And what we can do with inks, of course, is we can use some stencils. Let's do some stenciling. So you can use your stencils and just make quick work of this. So I need to get my, just 1 second. I want to do these quickly. So what am I going to use? I think I'll just use my brushes here. Let's just use some brushes to do this with. You could do it with sponges. You do it with your dauber, but I don't have enough of those daubers, enough different ones at the moment near me. So I'm going to just use these. Okay. So then I just go through the stencil, just like that. Stencil that on. Looks really pretty. Put a little bit down here. And I'm not being precise by any means. I need the purple. I suppose I didn't grab purple. Let's see. Blues. Here's a purple. Okay. So let's just get some purple on here. Let's fill that up a little better. There we go. So I'm just using stencils, adding some character to this, as well as, well, not really texture, it's just character to the back of here, because I liked it will match really good with that paper. Okay, let's put a little bit of yellow in again. That yellow is just blending so nicely. Okay, let's put a little more up here, and let's go across like that. I think will look good. So any kind of stencil that you would like to try, this would work great with. And any, whoop, yeah, that's the right one. Any color of ink that you may want to use. Lots of times I just use my basic vintage photo when I'm trying to be fast and quick. But today I thought I'd show you some different colors. So there we go. As simple as that. And we've got no more bright white and easy to journal on when you put it in your journal. And then I just want to do another one. I'm just liking this. So let's, I want to do some on this one. This paper here. I should cut that too. Do some quick stenciling on this 6x6 paper. So this can be paper or cardstock because it's not a wet medium, right? So I'm gonna just do this to show you what I meant with the vintage photo. We'll just use our vintage photo on this one. And anyways, it's not a wet medium, so it's not going to soak through your paper at all and affect the other side. So I just like to put light. I don't like to make it super dark. Just a light coating, just like that. And then you get the takes away the dark or the whiteness, and you have some design, right? But it's not overpowering in any means. So I just wanted to show you that real quick. So there you go. As easy as that, and just imagine how many you could do very quickly, right? All right, and then I wanted to show you, let's see, I've got these ones left. So, well, let's do this one. So you can also use your stamps, right? So I have some stamps here. And I want to just use some textured stamps. That's what I think I want to do. So we're just going to stamp this a bit. Real quick here. What colors do we want to use? Well, I think I'll stamp some of this yellow, not purple. Again, you can make these any color you want, any kind of ink. Let's try some. Let's see about some. Let's try this Lagoon one and see what we get. Okay, so I'm just going to take a stamp and just, will that be big enough? Probably good enough, but I have a longer one here. Yeah, we'll use that one. So let's just stamp a couple of these ones. So whatever textured stamps you have, this would work really great. They don't have to be textured stamps, but I like the textured stamps simply because I don't know what journal it may go in, so I don't want to go by a theme at all. So I'm going to just stamp this all over the paper. I'm liking this blue for the back of this one. Looks pretty darn good. And then we'll just go up there. Do a couple more. This has to be cut off, of course, so I should have cut that off ahead of time so I know exactly the area I'm working with, which I might just do now real quick. I'm just going to use my scissors because I always end up straightening them in some way when I go to put it in a journal. seems like the size is not quite the size you want, right? There. Then I know the edge. It's more the edge I wanted to know. Okay. So let's try some of this yellow. And let's put that to the side. And I have these. And you use them for clay a lot, but I also just love the texture of these, and I use them on paper as well all the time. So we're going to use, let's try some of this. Let's see. So what's really neat is you don't need to worry about getting it perfect, of course, because you're not looking for that. Oh, I think that needs to be a little bit darker. So we're going to use some vintage photo. That's what we're going to use. And just put it across like that. Yeah, it's because it's very, very light. It's because of these particular stamps, I think. I'm not getting enough pressure. Yeah. So we're going to leave those alone for now. And let's go and see what we got here. Yeah, let's try this one. And we'll use it on the yellow. And I think I'm just going to use this one. Doesn't quite fit the whole stamp, but that's okay, because I don't need to use the whole stamp, do I? So there we go. Now you could stamp on your coffee dyed ones too, right? That you painted, if you want to. Try it that way. But you certainly don't have to, right? Like this is, we don't want, the objective of this is not to be spending a lot of time on it, right? Is what this is about. So we can just put through a lot at once. So you can use your stamps just like that. Oh, I think I want to use this one real quick. Let's just put a couple of these on. I think we'll use our vintage photo for this. And you can use any kind of, oh, this one just doesn't want to stick on there, so that's fine. You can use any kind of ink you want for this. I'm just happen to be grabbing my distress inks, but acrylic inks, or archival inks certainly would be brighter, but I didn't want bright. I just wanted simple or light. That's why I'm using my distress, because they don't always stamp perfectly, do they? Or I find they don't. Okay, put one there and one over here. Some down there. Get that all off of there. Okay, and then I'm going to, so I leave lots of them just like this, but since I have this right beside me, I'm just going to put a bit of stencil on top. You can use stencils and stamps together. I think we'll use a little bit of blue, except for I gotta get my blue. Red, red, blue, green. Where are you, blue? There we are. I just want to put a little bit of this on lightly. Put a little bit here. Just very lightly. Very, very lightly. I don't want a lot of deep color at all. I Just want it lightly on there. Okay, and then I'm going to do the same with the vintage photo. I want a little bit of that. So let's just turn that this way. Do a little bit of that. And some here. So this is a fun, it's also fun to play, right? But it's very, very quick and easy, and that's what we're after. Quick and easy. So we can make these in fast production. I guess I will call it production, but you know what I mean. Mass making. Okay, that one's done. There we go. So those are just a few ways you can take care of those stark white papers that we love the designs on them, but they're one-sided paper, and we want to use them in our journals, but we don't want to spend a lot of time on the white paper, white side. We just want to add some color and take away from some of that stark whiteness, and also be able to still write on it, right? Because you're putting it in your journal. Okay, so I'm going to just show you. I have to wait for a couple things to dry, and then I'll just show you all the ones that we did today together. Be right back, guys. Hi, everybody. I'm back with the results of what we did today. So the first was, of course, the coffee tea dyeing, and I love how this turned out. We, of course, just paintbrushed across before we did a stenciling on top, and the paintbrush across with your tea dyeing or coffee dyeing is plenty enough to get rid of that white stark look, as you can see by the corners. So that's one way. Or I just upped it a bit and stenciled over top of it, and it doesn't really take that long to dry. So we got that. And then this was the oh, I was gonna say how, you know, how that will look here. Like that turned out really good. And then this was the watercolor spray that I had made. And as you can see, it's very subtle, but it adds, you know, the colors. And I think it looks really great with this paper here. And super, super fast. Really, just spray and let it dry, and away we go. And then if you didn't have the liquid type of watercolors, I showed you just use your watercolors with your brush, and that's the results of that one. And then I think it looks really great with those cars. And then this one was stenciling, and I just used some vintage photo, so it adds color to that white, stark white, of course. And then this one here was stamping, I believe. Oh no, this was also stenciling. Sorry, this was also stenciling, which worked really, really nicely and very, very quick. Just you know, it doesn't have to be precise. Of course, we don't want precise, or I don't anyway, but easy to still do your journaling over top. And then this is the last piece where I stamped, and I also did a bit of stenciling on that. And then I think that turned out really well with this paper. And this is a thinner paper, so I didn't want to use any wet medium on it, so that it didn't soak through the paper. Sometimes that is an issue, is we don't want anything soaking through. So I just wanted to show you the different mediums and things that you could use, and how quickly you can do this. And you could mass make a whole bit of these papers. You like get rid of the white on your papers, and then they're all ready to go when you're putting your journals together. So I hope that was helpful, everyone, and I want you all to have a crafty day and a lovely day, and we will see and talk to you soon. Bye for now.